All right, hello Facebook Live, and let's get this started. All right, welcome back, Universe. We are on episode 54, our first ever 54th episode.
That many, really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And Jeff, you have a part you're supposed to say.
Oh, yeah, we are coming live to you from the Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty. It's right there.
Home Sale Realty Studios.
Yeah, I've seen Nate is so much better at reading these than I am.
Oh, sorry. Today we have the local legend filling in for Mark, and we have the Paranormal Investigators of Milwaukee. Hi, guys. We have Gravy and Chris with us, and they have been very kind to come in and do a little bit of we're going to call it a Halloween special. So technically, this is about our 1 year anniversary, like our 1 year special.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of podcasts don't
Glad
make
to
it
be a
6
part of
months.
that.
So
Yeah.
that's, you said 1 year. We do have, it's episode 54, but we do have a missing 28th episode.
No.
Because I called it episode 29 when we were on 28 and never fixed it.
We left it just to see if people would notice.
So we will put out an episode 28, but you have to search the internet. It's the hidden episode. So, announcements. We do have another special Halloween event coming up, a comedy skit that Nate Ford and I are writing together. So we're going to do an old-time theme radio. It's not going to be live. It's going to be recorded. We're going to have voice actors in here. Jeff,
Sounds like
you can
lots
be
of work
a
for Molly.
voice actor.
I can be a voice actor?
Try writing a comedy skit and see if that's not a lot
I
of
would
work.
love to be a voice actor.
All right.
I gotta edit all your laughing and
Who,
messing
mine?
stuff up.
No, we're going to do a rehearsal and get all that laughing out of the way. And
And
then
it's gonna go perfectly.
it's going to go perfectly.
Okay.
So next Friday, be sure to tune in. We have Christine Hazel Decker coming back. We're going to be recording her audiobook after the show, but she was on Your Mom's House podcast with Tom Segura, and we got a little beef with that podcast. They were making fun of her and gave her a chance to come on their podcast and decided to edit out all the stuff they wanted and still made her look bad. So you guys have a couple special things coming up. I notice the Brumner Hotel. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, the Brumner Mansion. That's
Brumner Mansion,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee.
I have 3046 Wisconsin Avenue.
That is correct.
Sounds right.
And we've been going to this location for about 5 or 6 years now, doing public events.
Okay.
So we have actually most of our events for that place is sold out. We just have one opening left on Friday night or one shift open left on Friday night of the
early shift, right?
Early shift. Yep.
Yep.
We have 2 shifts each night, Friday and Saturday nights, and everything else is sold out. So this one sells out every year. It goes really fast. It's
What would
great
happen
location.
for anybody who wants to do that?
Well, they can go to our website where we have an Eventbrite set up for it.
Okay,
they
that's
can just sign
Paranormal Investigators.
Paranormal Investigators in Milwaukee,
of Milwaukee.com.
Yep. And they can sign up.
Our website is paranormalmilwaukee.com.
Paranormalmilwaukee.com.
Yes, I apologize.
That's why Chris is here.
He's new. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm also new. It's fine.
and yeah, so they can sign up through there, and then they just show up to the event on the night of and investigate with us. We do kind of a mock-up investigation of how we do our normal scientific investigations, and allow people to see how we go about doing that.
So, do you collect all the data and then give it to the people also?
We do not. No,
You do not?
we
No.
take all the data home with us,
Okay.
and we review it on our own free time.
Do you
And then,
post it, though?
And then anything we capture, we do post.
Okay.
So we've had some interesting things happen there over the years.
Oh, yeah?
One of my favorites was it was a group that I was running down in the basement, and there's a theater in the basement similar to this building where they've just been doing shows every year, and there's a rehearsal. There's a room in the back around this hallway, and a gentleman was sitting in a wooden chair in there. And one of our disclaimers when people investigate with us is to say, if you're feeling something's happening, stay calm, do not run, do not freak out, call us over there. We'll see what we can do, because we're investigating in the dark. You can't see your hand in front of your face.
Okay.
And he's in this room, and he felt like the chair was shocking him, and he jumped out, tried to run out of the room, and ran right into the door jamb.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry. I would started laughing.
I was around the corner. I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And the guy was just freaking out. I think he left after that, but it was just
He said, I'm
that
done.
was interesting. Yeah. So after that group had left, before the next group came in, we thought maybe there was some live wire or electrical, like a cord touching the chair. And we went down. It was all wood. There was no wires near it. Nothing. We couldn't find any explanation for why he would have felt shocked. So
New
It might have
cell
been a
phone.
psychology.
He set the vibrate too high.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It very well
He
could
just
have
got
been.
a text.
Do you guys
Yeah.
find that a lot with, people's own minds starting to play tricks on them if they're doing that sort of stuff?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. I think a lot of people, when they go into a location that they think is haunted, they're already in the mindset that something's going to happen.
Sure.
And then when something does happen, whether there's a natural explanation or not, they jump to the conclusion that there's no explanation for it and it's paranormal. And rather than run to it and seek out the answers, they run from it.
Okay.
And that's when bad stuff happens.
That's when you
All right.
run into the door.
Yep.
Yeah,
People-
Gravy just had
God.
something happen at Brumder Manor.
Oh, yeah. We were there investigating Monday night.
That's exciting.
And we were standing in the hallway at the bottom of the stairs, and I felt something touch the back of my hair and then down on my neck. And so I was like, "Oh, what was that?" And turns out it was a spider. Yeah, I was like, "Hey guys, you mind coming over here and make sure this whatever's crawling on my neck isn't going to bite me?" But I was for a second excited, until my
Right.
brain
You were
caught up and
thinking-
said, "Oh."
Is it a brown or a brunette? I don't care. I'll take anything. So, on with that, you guys are going to be on CBS. There was a special with that.
Yep. So that's why we were at Brumner in the first place on Monday night. We were filming with CBS 58. The weather and the traffic reporters were there.
Cool.
I didn't think they got along. I thought they were always arguing
Weather and
about stuff.
traffic?
Yeah. I didn't know they were
Battle
closely
royales.
knit like they were. So they were investigating with us on Monday night. They actually spent the night there, so I'd be interested to see if anything happened to
cool.
them while they were sleeping there.
The news
Okay.
first spent the night there?
The two gentlemen, yeah.
Okay.
I'm on team weather.
See
Because weather causes traffic. Traffic doesn't cause weather.
Team traffic.
Well, I don't know.
Butt
We could
heads.
go into the debate on traffic and how it's caused weather changes over. We're
Well,
Oh, there
Never
we
mind.
go. You want one of these? I'll give you one of them.
Anyhow, so so I'll be interested to see if anything happened to them. But then on Halloween morning, we're going to be in their studio doing an interview based on
Okay.
our findings from that location.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pay a bill quick. Do you know about? Do you have to?
Yeah, I fucking hate bills.
We have Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty as our main sponsor. Does that come up when selling a home? Do you have to say if it's haunted? Would you guys have to file a report that there has been activity here and they would have to disclose it to somebody they're selling a home to?
Well, first of all, I think that's kind of a tough category, only because of the fact that we can't prove that anything.
Yeah, we got
can't
some
prove it.
questions
So,
about that too.
That's tough, but for home sales, I don't know that that's a law in Wisconsin.
Okay.
I
Might
know
not be
there
in
are
Wisconsin.
some states that do require
Pretty
that
sure
if
New
you think
York
it's
is one
haunted,
of
but
them.
it'd be awesome to get into that kind of market and be the group that has to go in and prove or disprove a house is haunted before
Do
they
you
can
charge
post
less
haunted on
or
there.
more?
Well, we don't charge anything
No,
for our
I meant
investigations,
to
the
sell your
house.
house.
but in that
If it's
case,
worth
I guess it depends.
200,000,
Depends on the buyer.
depends on the ghost.
right, yeah,
Right.
how haunted it is.
Right.
Every night these walls bleed. It's about 12 gallons of blood right on the floor.
Yeah, I mean that's a cleaning mess every morning. I mean,
Yeah.
the rug doctor's got to
Get
come
red
out.
carpet. Save
Yeah.
yourself the trouble. So, yeah, I guess you could give Roy a call. Roy at CBHSR. Give him a call, 414-235-0763 if you're interested in buying a haunted house. A non-haunted house.
7? I'm going to
So-
call Roy at
Roy? I just talked to
10:15.
Roy. Roy is headed to Vegas.
What?
Yep.
Nice.
Roy's going to be spending 10 days out there in Vegas.
You gambling?
You should find out if Roy knows if you need to post it if it's haunted or not.
There you go.
Give Roy a call.
Let's
Molly, put him
let's call Roy
put him on
at
speaker here.
Yeah, we got
12:01 tonight.
50763. They'd love to be too for all your real estate needs, haunted or not. So, current event that's coming up, I scheduled it for this weekend on purpose because I saw there is a big paranormal conference in Milwaukee. You guys must know about that. All right.
Chris.
We do know
Yeah.
about it.
We do know about it.
Unfortunately, it was canceled.
Unfortunately, yes. That's
Yeah.
when we first got in contact, it was all thumbs up. And then today I was looking at what was all going to be on there to ask some good questions. And they said, big cancellations. Do you know why there were some cancellations?
From what I know, the organizer didn't file the paperwork in time to secure the location. So there was just
Okay.
no location.
There is still some stuff going on and tickets happening. There's the Kraken's Ball
Mhm.
with a costume contest. You have to have a creepy sea-themed contest. I know that. There is the Forest Holmes Cemetery Tour. Do you guys do cemeteries
We do not investigate cemeteries at all.
for the respect reason?
No,
Well,
no,
well-
outdoor locations are tough.
Yeah,
Okay.
outdoor locations are very tough. It's not only that; it's hard to get into the location because you generally investigate after
Curfew?
public hours or nighttime dusk. And what happens is a lot of groups out there give paranormal investigators a bad name because they're breaking into these places, investigating, and then getting caught by the police or
They were giving Pokemon hunters a bad name by
Right.
going to the cemeteries.
yeah. Well, I don't
By
want
the
to
way,
be.
back to Pokemon, dude.
I don't want to be compared to Pokemon.
Yeah, no
but
shit.
Hey,
yeah, similar to
when
that.
it comes to Pokemon, I've caught more ghosts than you.
That's a brilliant
That's
idea
probably
for a new
true. I don't
app.
even
We
have
should
the
make
app
we
of it.
should make a Pokemon ghost hunting game.
You should.
Yeah,
That would be fun.
that would be excellent.
But just a quick shameless plug on
yes,
the
let's do that.
Love
the
those.
Milwaukee conference. That the person that runs that is T. Krulos. He's a local author in Milwaukee.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, he followed us around and investigated with us, and then ended up writing a book based on the paranormal. But it's not just ghosts or paranormal investigations, but also UFOs, Bigfoot. He followed a bunch of people around, and he published the book. It's Ghost Hunter. It's Monster Hunters.
Monster Hunter.
Monster
Um,
Hunters.
If you ever pick it up from the local library or the bookstore, you'll see half my face on there. It's awesome. It's
good
like I'm
side.
on the cover of a book,
Yes.
but it's like I'm Mike Wazowski, from Monsters Inc. He's got the UPC and it's me. I'm on the side of the book. So
Yeah. Oh, we're getting some questions there from Facebook Live there, Jeff?
Not a chance.
Not yet? Okay.
No, but the website's up for Milwaukee, paranormalmilwaukee.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
and that is an awesome website now. We
Right,
just
yeah.
we just reposted a new website. Brandon is a new member of our group, and he did a lot of work on getting this thing going for us. And compared to the last one we had, this thing is by far 10
Yeah,
times
what's
better.
Brandon's number there? We need to update our webpage a little bit here.
Yeah, he is a go-to guy. He's very smart, very creative, and he did a fantastic job with this website.
I was reading you guys did a tour or like an expedition, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we do huge expeditions every 2 years, and
Okay.
then little mini ones in between. The first one we did was several years ago in I think 2012. We went to Waverly Hills, Bobby Mackey's, Sedumsville Rectory, and Mansfield Reformatory,
Okay.
all in a 5-day span. So that, that really tests your will to be out there, especially when you're hanging out with people that you're not sure if you totally like yet or not.
Yeah.
But you come back and you either love them or hate them at that point.
Sure.
But those were that was a fantastic, eye-opening expedition for me and for most members in our group. We've done a couple others since then too. This past summer we were at Halesbar Dam, which I think was it Kentucky.
That was Kentucky.
We did or was it Tennessee?
But yeah, you're right. It might have been Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Bobby Mackey's,
We did Bobby Mackey's,
Octagon Hall.
Yep, Octagon Hall, and Ashmore Estates in Illinois. Awesome locations. All
Are
of them.
there any more, like, you guys haven't done any big locations as far as like Alcatraz, or you guys have done any of that sort of stuff?
They did
Waverly Hills.
Penhurst.
Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills is huge.
Is it?
That is a giant place.
Okay.
I mean, you couldn't even cover that whole place in a single night.
Sure.
I wasn't with the group at the time, or I didn't go along with them, but we did Penhurst in Pennsylvania. That's a huge prison. Mansfield Reformatory is a huge prison. That's where they shot Shawshank Redemption. A lot of parts of it. But yeah, I mean, we do hit.
You guys did Miller Caves.
Miller
Yes.
Caves.
Saw
Yep,
that.
we did Miller Caves and the inn right there.
Yep.
That's got some pretty cool claims. We've done Riverside Theater a couple times.
What about the Fister? I heard that was haunted. See,
You guys do have
I got to throw that out there because that's what I heard.
Didn't you do a special where you talked to athletes who came through the Fister?
Noah oftentimes gets contacted by the local media when they want to get a plug on when something like that happens.
Okay.
And so they'll contact him and he'll give him his opinion.
Sure.
And
So do you think it's just the Fister just wanting to get a plug?
I don't think the Fister needs a
the
plug.
Fister does not want any. They want no association to spirits at all,
Really?
ghosts, any of that stuff. They try to hide that. They say they don't want groups in there to do anything. However, around this time of the year, my understanding is they do have tours. They have
Sure.
somebody that works there go around giving ghost tours.
I'm
Okay.
picturing the mustache guy from Ghostbusters in the hotel. When
Yeah.
he saw Ghostbusters and was like, that is not happening.
Completely want to run in there and be like, I got this. Don't worry about
I'm
it.
going to pull
With my
the
proton
table.
bag and shooting lights out. I would totally destroy that place.
Is there a lot of places around Milwaukee that are supposedly haunted, or is there?
Milwaukee's got a big history of
Yeah.
haunted locations.
Yeah.
The first
Quite a
bar
few,
in
yeah.
Milwaukee that does tours.
Yeah, we had that last year. There was a walking ghost bar, but I wish you would have brought that up sooner. I would have got the name of it. Sorry about that. Well, let's start this off. Let's talk about who you guys are, how to contact you, and some of the methods you go into. How it starts from a person that has an experience, contacts you, and then the steps through that.
Okay. Long process, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I got a lot of questions.
So most people visit us through our website, paranormalmilwaukee.com.
Okay.
And then on there is a contact page where you contact us for an investigation. You fill out a little survey or
questionnaire.
something,
You guys have on there.
and then we pass it off to one of our good friends, John, who usually does the interviewing. He's a ex-cop.
He's a veteran.
He's a veteran cop. Yep. Very good at what he does. Very good at interviewing and talking to people. So he'll talk to potential clients, get an idea of what's going on, what activities happening, how the household is. Is there alcohol abuse, drug abuse in the house? Is there mental illness? Some
Is
of
there toxic mold?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could very well be. And so then he'll interview them. And then from there, we'll kind of, depending on how severe the activity is, if there's children involved, we usually make that like a priority to get in there and take care of or help out. But if it's not pressing, we usually have them document what's going on, maybe a time, date, what's happening, what state of mind they were possibly in, and then go from there, determine if we need to go in. If we feel like we need to investigate based on that interview, we'll go to the location. We'll do what we call a walkthrough, and we'll just look at the location, see if we can debunk any of the things we can right then and there to see if it's even worthwhile coming out. A lot of times we get out there and we'll see, we'll be doing a walkthrough and there'll be like medication pills everywhere. Yeah. Like, well, they didn't tell us anything about these in the interview. So, that's, to us, that's a red flag.
Okay.
Sometimes we go to these locations and people will tell us these crazy stories about things that are going on there. And to us, that's also a red flag because in this line of field, it's almost like Amityville horror type stories.
Sure.
Just crazy stuff that you just cannot wrap your head around. But to us, that's almost like another somebody trying to maybe get a deal out of a movie or a book or something, So, I mean, we listen to everybody's claims. We want to help them find answers, but we also want to find the truth. We're there for the truth. And then if we feel like an investigation is warranted, then we'll go out, we'll do an investigation. We'll usually do 6 to 8 hours and do reviews. And
do you do the history on the property too at all?
Depends on the property. A lot of it's hard to do history on houses because there's usually not a lot of history on them. Maybe if there's a death in there and they know about it, we have something to go by.
Investigate that.
Right. We can look into that. We can, research, if someone said it was a Dahmer apartment, we'd be able to research that and find something. But that's no longer there, obviously. But but if it's like if it's the Riverside, there's
certain places.
There's certain stuff that does have history.
Some places don't have history.
Right. Some places do. Some places don't.
Okay.
It's really hard to find.
Yeah, you probably know that from researching this place.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, which we are going to be doing a live investigation later on, and we got some history we can share with this place. Molly, that one up. All right.
That was paranormal.
That was
that
paranormal.
was totally paranormal.
Light
I
just went
that
out when
light
we were
to go out.
That's the light that lights up my good side.
These lights
I'm
are
gonna need that
expensive as
fixed.
hell, and they last 45 minutes if they're not plugged in.
Battery ran out. It's probably not plugged in.
Molly,
So
this is my
speaking
good
of
side.
expensive equipment, let's talk about some of the equipment you guys use.
So we have. You want to take this, Chris?
No, you're doing.
I'm
you're
talking all over you. You
Chris
can-
is Chris
I-
is
you
like,
know, I'm
nah, dude, you
parched.
got
I'm
this.
gonna have
You're
some
good.
water. So
There we go.
I'm gonna take.
Chris,
the
you
next
have
5
a
minutes.
background in movies, production,
film production. Yeah.
film production. Yes.
Yeah, so we use digital cameras, of course. We each of us have control recorders that we wear on our persons at all times during the investigation. We use H1 zooms, digital recorders, and Faraday cages. We use trigger objects. That's what I was
Data
thinking.
loggers. We have
Data loggers are data loggers. Data loggers will record weather, barometer, temperature, humidity, all that jazz.
So there's 2 types of equipment in paranormal investigating.
Okay.
There's the recording equipment, which is the cameras, and the audio recorders that we use for trying to document if wherever there might be paranormal activity, try to catch a shadow figure or something moving or whatever the claim might be. And then there's the other equipment, which is used for recording the environment surrounding the area. Okay. So we have data loggers that do every minute it takes barometric humidity and temperature. And we have EMF detectors that some of them data log different types of electromagnetic fields, correct, in a location. And then we have carbon monoxide detectors and all sorts of other things that don't...
Now, is that just for your safety?
Well, it's for our safety, their safety, but what I'm trying to emphasize is it's not stuff that detects ghosts.
Okay.
EMF detectors do not detect ghosts. They just detect EMF.
Okay.
Now, one of the thoughts in the paranormal field is that if there's a ghost there, they can fluctuate the EMF, and then you can get a reading.
One of those theories.
I've seen Supernaturals. That's what they use.
Right, yeah, Supernatural. Yeah.
Big fan, sorry.
Yeah, they also use axes and shotguns.
Right.
And
Totally
all that stuff.
real.
Right. I'm a big fan, too. My son is also a big fan of it, so...
But you guys actually are very scientific with it.
Yes.
Like, everything that you guys are doing, you're taking readings about everything that you can.
Right, everything that we possibly can within our budget.
Right.
You know,
Right.
We don't have like a Hadron Collider where we're just, shooting atoms and
You don't have
data
photon packs
collecting on this
either.
stuff. Yeah.
Or,
And,
you know. Whatever.
right. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we use everything that we possibly can that we can afford. Some of the stuff is very expensive. I think my most expensive piece, and I hope my wife's not listening, but it's like $450. It's called a dark matter device. The guy that made them no longer makes them. He fell off the earth. We can't even find him anywhere. Maybe he turned into a ghost. I don't know. But it data logs 3 types of EMF. It has an audio recorder, barometric pressure, humidity, all sorts of fun stuff jam packed in this little device. So if I ever lose that, it's irreplaceable.
He's kicked out of the group.
Yeah, right. It's my one. It's my one ticket in. So, but then we have thermal imaging cameras, all sorts of stuff, and it's all listed on our website too. We put that out there for people. And
right here, thermal imaging. What is this geophone?
So the geophone, that's a device that Noah actually made from a kit, and so it picks up. It's exactly what it does. It's a geophone. It picks up seismic vibrations.
Okay.
So we'll place that next to a trigger object bank, which I can describe in a moment.
Yeah.
And if something wants to tap, we can ask things to tap it or tap next to it, or if it's like a stage where there's claims of walking on the stage, we'll put it on the stage and ask people to if you're here with us, can you walk on the stage? Let us know you're here, and then it'll light up. And then depending on how much it lights up will determine how hard or how heavy the stomp was or the seismic activity was.
Okay.
Now the trigger object bank, which you're about to show there.
Yes, trigger object bank.
So this is something that we do at most of our locations where we put out items that we think might trigger a response. Generally, we put it on graph paper and we set a bunch of different items on it, and we'll take a picture of it before for a baseline, and then we'll take a picture at the end of the investigation for another baseline to see if anything moves. And included in that is sometimes, oftentimes we take like a small bottle of booze, cigarettes, cigar, bullets, dice, playing cards. I have a harmonica. We put some toys out, like I have a baseball, a small cat, a doll. Depending on the claims of the location. If it's a place where there's children, we'll put children's stuff out. If it's a bar, we'll put booze and gambling stuff out. Sometimes we'll do a mix of everything just to see if we can get a response and have them play with any of the things we get out that we put out for them.
So what happens when the stuff is moved then?
I have yet to see
then we
anything move.
retire. We prove the paranormal.
Yeah,
It's
right.
over.
We're
We're done.
We're done. That's it.
Right.
We can leave. This place is haunted.
So say you put out a bottle of booze and it like goes down. Is there a main hub or like some central location that you can submit your evidence to, or what do you do with the evidence you find?
I think you just hang on to it and brag that you caught something paranormal.
Okay.
I'd brag.
I
Facebook the
would
shit out
be
of
like,
that thing.
look at this. I mean, this would be awesome, but really, there's nothing that I know of out there. First of all, we have to capture something like that to begin with.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be amazing.
that would be
Okay.
awesome. Anything would be awesome to capture, but it's the paranormal is one of those events that happens like 99.9999 is going to be a natural explanation for whatever's going on. So
Okay.
it's very hard to capture.
Yeah,
the
you guys
paranormal.
disprove a lot of.
We try to. We can't disprove everything, but
Right.
for the most part, we disprove what we can. And some stuff you can't disprove. It should be more or less the person that has the claim prove that it actually happens than us trying
Prove
to
it.
disprove.
Okay, so like the American justice system, prove your
Right.
guilt, not innocence.
Sure.
Okay.
I know I likes to say it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
So you have never had a paranormal experience.
I wouldn't say that.
It said in your bio.
Well, that was my bio when I started.
When you
in the
started,
group.
okay, so you
10
have
years,
since.
10 years into this, I have had some stuff that have
Okay.
happened, but
I was gonna. We can still go back to 10 years ago. If you didn't have a paranormal experience 10 years ago, why did you get into this field without having any reason, basically?
I got into it for it was probably ghost hunters that started it.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say started it, but it re-interested me into a thing that I actually liked from Unsolved Mysteries. When I was a kid, I'd watch that all the time.
Love that guy's voice.
Right? And it was always the ghost stories on the
Right.
Unsolved Mysteries that I was always intrigued with. And so it really
Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson of Ghost Hunters.
Right, yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. But it started with Unsolved Mysteries, and then a couple of years, about 11 years ago, a buddy of mine's like, "Hey, you watch the show on Sci-Fi? It's Ghost Hunters." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll check it out, whatever." Thinking I'm gonna watch this and it's gonna be whatever, boring. And it was somewhat exciting. And it was cool, but I figured I could debunk everything. So when I found out that there was this group doing a library event down in Brown Deer, I was like, "Oh, I got to go check this out." So it came out. It was Pim. And about a year later, after I saw them at the library event, I joined the group. And now I'm pretty skeptical about what the paranormal is, but I'm optimistic about it. So I know that the paranormal exists, but I'm skeptical that it's actually ghosts. I don't believe that it's ghosts that are causing the paranormal, what people like to think.
Okay.
But really, it was that interest in Unsolved Mysteries that got me excited about going into investigating. And what really keeps me driving to do this is to help people understand what the paranormal is.
Okay. Now, same question to you, Chris. You said you're a main skeptic into this.
Yeah, I had always been interested in the paranormal, and a mutual friend of mine, John, the cop vetter, said,
Okay.
why don't you check this group out? They're, kind of doing the things that you're interested in. So I met with the group, and 3 years later, I'm still here.
And you bring an awesome skill to it with your camera work and
I try, yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. So I know we talked about not using religion, but I guess we can kind of go in there with like the difference between hauntings and demonic hauntings. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Grady has a lot of thoughts on demonic hauntings.
Yeah,
let's dig in.
So
All right.
just a quick
it.
background. I'm an
Okay.
atheist.
Okay.
So I had a Catholic upbringing. I got to college, and one of my first courses in college was Philosophy 101. And one of the first questions he asked on the first day was, "Does God exist?" And that was like it was like a light switch in the brain went off. I was like, wait, hold on. I can ask that question? I was told I can't ask that question. God exists.
Yeah.
And so then that sent me on a new path for my life. And from there on, I was like, I don't think he does exist.
Okay.
And so for me, that was like, all right, now I got to find out what the world does have to offer. And kind of that's what made me a little more interested in the paranormal is, okay, if ghosts do exist and I can find evidence of it, that will give me evidence that there might be an afterlife. And if there's an afterlife, there might be evidence that there is a God.
Okay.
So it's kind of this quest, and they make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, you're not atheist, you're agnostic." Like, no, I'm atheist. But anyhow.
My philosophy professor showed us a quote from Homer Simpson, and it was the greatest philosophy quote he's ever heard. And it was about God again. So it goes, Homer said, "Can God make a burrito so hot that even he can't eat it?"
Oh, nice.
And it says that quote right there. It's like, yeah, he can do anything, but then he can't eat it. But he can eat anything. So you keep thinking, well, then it just blew God out of the water, Homer.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it is. It's an ongoing battle. It's just back and forth with people that believe, the people that don't believe, and but yeah. So like I said, I'm atheist. So by being atheist, not only do I not believe in God, I don't believe in demons.
Yeah, that
So
comes with it.
It comes with it. And so when we go into investigations, I don't believe that there are demonic
Okay.
spirits in these locations. So I don't think any investigation I've ever done, there has been a demonic presence. And now we do get claims where people say that they've had a psychic or a medium in there and they say there's demons here or whatever. But I find it hard to believe any of these locations I have been to. It hasn't been a presence that's been negative towards me.
Okay. That could be just the person in the house religious and creating trigger items. Do you believe that
Very
more?
much so, yep.
Have you guys had any like psychics with you on any of your investigations?
Like Ed and Lorraine Warren?
did,
I got a whole
why
list
you just opened
of
up the box?
right here.
did Noah put you up to this? I feel like
No,
he
I got a
said,
whole
"Here's
list
a
that
list
we were
of-
going to.
Here's a list of all the things Gravy hates. Bring them up."
I am great at
So-
my job. You guys
Trigger
missed
warning,
me.
trigger names.
Trigger names.
I forgot even what the original question was now.
Did we
Someone
ever
said
use
a ghost will
psychics?
convert you on
ghost.
Facebook. Apparently.
Hey, a ghost will
That-
convert
that
me.
will.
If I can prove that it's a ghost.
Jeff, you asked the question. The question was,
Oh, if they've ever, if you guys ever had a psychic or someone
psychic,
with you
yeah.
doing one of the investigations with you.
So when I first joined the group, we did, because it was such a new group, and we were entertaining any possibility, any idea that there could be a psychic or medium that does exist.
Sure.
That we did have what we called sensitives in our group. And when I first started out, what
Molly's
we would
pretty
do
sensitive.
yeah. Well, it turned out these senses were pretty sensitive too
Sure.
when I made fun of them. So
yeah.
anyhow, so we'd have the sensitives go around, do their readings on the place, and then we'd investigate. But we never let the sensitives drive the investigation.
Sure.
They were just there in case we could validate something that they claimed that they felt would be amazing. But after several years of doing that, we never could find any evidence claiming that they picked up on a child in a room. That's just how they felt. You know, we eventually did away with sensitives and mediums in our group, and we don't.
Fuck out of our group.
I didn't want to say it.
So what's your beef with Ed and Lorraine Warren then? Just,
Oh boy.
I was going to save that question, but might as well just go with
Let's
it.
just punt it out there.
My personal belief is that they're money mongrels.
And that gets my next hoaxer question, so we'll get in
there
there.
we go. I just finished a great book. It's the Amityville Conspiracy.
Conspiracy, okay.
Yep, it was by Stephen Kaplan. He did basically he did a journal every day of his life, and so when the Amityville horror was kind of done about 10-15 years later, he went back through all his notes from all his journal writings, and he pulled out everything that was about the Amityville house, the story, and he put it into a book form. And then just before publishing the book, he had passed away from a heart failure or something like that. But the book published in 95 or 96. And I just finished reading it probably 2 weeks ago, and it was a phenomenal book. And it basically just points out all the flaws in the Lutz's story. The Lutzes were the owners of the house during the Amityville crisis, like you could say. And they were just people looking for attention and looking for money. Big money deal.
A lot of that goes down to, weren't they going to lose the house or something, or they were owed money on it?
Yeah, they owed.
That was one of the stories.
Yeah, that was one of the
yeah.
stories, and that was one of Steve's claims, that he thought that they owed a lot of money, that they were in debt. He had a business that was failing because of the location he had moved to. They said that they spent $80,000 on the house, where I think it turned out to be like $40,000 on the house. They got a good deal for it. And
See, I go back to, my dad's a Bigfoot guy or whatever, and that one,
Fox.
what's the name of that one film that everybody says is real? The footage that,
Oh, the Patterson.
the Patterson film.
Okay.
That nobody can debunk the Patterson film. But when you look behind it, it's Patterson was a known con man. He owed a ton of money, and they were making a movie in the woods about Bigfoot at the time that they saw a Bigfoot on accident.
how convenient.
Yeah. And it just looks like a guy like walking away like he got caught masturbating in the woods, like, hey, see, anybody didn't know you guys were here. So, and he's just life, and I can't change his mind. Nope, that footage is real. Boom.
Yeah, and
Everything points to no, man.
unfortunately, a lot of people have that mentality about things. I could tell you the Amityville horror story is not real, but there are people that wholeheartedly want to believe that it exists. You know,
Ryan Reynolds played that role.
You know,
To
I
a
never
T.
saw that full.
You never saw that
Not
one?
the full one.
I'm a huge Ryan Reynolds fan.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
well, who isn't?
Yeah, right? So dreamy.
It's so hot, especially his face in Deadpool. It's just all mangled and burnt up.
So what are some of the 10 years go by from when you started, and now you have stories? What are some of the things that you've seen?
Well, it's not many, but
Not many. Okay.
I do have a couple that are, unfortunately, I do not have evidence of based on the location or the amount of equipment we had going or this scenario. We were at the theater that is now a church, Paradise Theater, which was in Greenfield. It's on the corner of Greenfield and National. It's a really angled, weird sized building.
Shit, yeah.
And we were in there, and one of the claims was the seats like to move on their own. So before the investigation, I took the liberty of going through every row and checking all the seats to make sure they were all up. And so later in the
No
night,
springs in them.
yeah,
set
well,
to
they're
go.
actually spring loaded. So
Okay.
if you push it down a little bit, it'll spring back up.
That's how my toilet seat is, so nobody can yell at me. It just
Just
it's a man's
slowly
toilet
goes
seat.
down.
No, it always goes
It goes
up.
up.
Yeah.
I should get one of those, but then my wife would fall in. So then it's like, how do you
Hey,
win?
your wife doesn't need a man to put her toilet seat down. She's a strong woman and can do it on her own.
Actually, we put I got my kids trained to put the toilet seat down so the dog doesn't drink the water.
Oh,
So
that'll help.
that's important. But yeah, we're at this location, and I asked a question. I said, "Hey, can you sit in your favorite seat?" One of our investigators heard a noise, and we couldn't replicate it. But 15 minutes later, we went by. I'm like, "Let's go upstairs." And as I'm walking up the main aisle, the third row from the back, the first seat on the end, right by where I was walking, where I would have saw it down, or if it was down before, the seat was finally down. And so I said, "Hey, go sit back in that seat you're sitting in. I'm going to move the seat, and I want to hear if that's the same noise you heard." She's like, "Yep, that's the same noise I heard." So we played around with the seats, figure out how it could have went down on its own. And like I said, they're spring loaded, so they pop back up on their own.
Mhm.
And the only way they stay down is if you push them far enough down, the padding of the seat holds it in place. So
Okay.
that was an interesting thing that happened. Now, had I walked by and maybe missed that one because it was right on the end and I just overlooked it, completely possible, but highly unlikely.
Were you running by and slapping them up hard enough that they came back
No,
down?
I was slowly walked down every row, so I was confident that I got all the seats, but it very well could have missed that one.
Okay.
And then one of my favorite experiences that happened to me was we were at this. It's a location in Greenfield. I can't name it.
Okay.
It's confidential. We were sitting in a lounge area or a waiting room area, I should say, and there's a 9-panel glass door just outside the.
I know the location.
Oh crap!
No, I'm kidding.
That means you've been there. You've been there, and that's not good for you. No, I'm just kidding. And so there's a 9-panel glass door, and it leads to the basement. And at the time, I didn't know of one of the claims there that something likes to walk up and down the stairs. And I'm staring at this window, and it's probably 2 a.m, so my eyes are probably fatiguing. And all of a sudden, from the second panel from the bottom, I see what looks like a face come out of the dark shadows, look through the glass panel, staring at us, and then slowly back away down in the dark.
Whoa.
And at the time, I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, my eyes are playing tricks, or maybe a car was driving by and the light reflected weird. And then we went to investigate longer, and someone's like, oh, I'm going to sit by the stairs where this claim happened. I was like, oh, crap, I just saw something there not too long ago. And then the best part was I had a recorder down in the basement, and one of the claims down there is some of the women that work down there would hear something, someone say, get out of here. And I had actually caught that on my voice recorder that night.
Oh,
In the basement. So, and that's probably my best evidence of anything that could possibly
So that
be
would
paranormal.
be on your electric voice phenomenon recorder? your
That would be,
EVP?
yep, electronic voice phenomenon, EVP, and it was captured on our voice recorder. Nobody heard it at the time.
How much of that on TV is suggestion?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it.
Because it just sounds like something, but when they play the word,
Especially-
that's what you hear?
Yep, especially when they suggest it beforehand. It is
Okay.
definitely,
The brain is wired to not be fooled.
right. It's like when you misremember your favorite lyrics to a song and then you go back and try to relearn those lyrics because you were wrong the first time.
Mhm.
It's hard to do sometimes. So
Okay. You got any evidence you've got?
No,
captured?
in my 3 years, I've yet to have an experience like that. I'm waiting. I'm hoping.
You're waiting?
Someday, but not yet.
Okay. We've had some experiences in our family. That's why my mom's over here. She wanted to come. Very, very. Ma, you want to get in here and say some of your experiences that you've had?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty unsettled.
Yeah.
I would.
You don't have a mic
moved
in your
into
face.
This house. Do you need a mic?
Yeah, come on over by your son
Don't
here.
be afraid.
Ma.
Come
Come
up to town.
talk about your experience here. Come on, Ma.
Okay.
Here we go. You have a seat right here. A
Anyway.
gentleman's son would get up and give you the
Right.
chair. Dick.
Anyway, we moved into a house, and we had a little man like like that one in front of Darth Vader, but it was like a minotaur with horns. And that little creature always came back in the house. My husband took it. All of a sudden, it would be standing by our bed
Facing
again.
the doorway.
Yes.
So was it in the house when you first arrived? Like when
It
you,
just appeared one day.
It
It was
Really?
like a
appeared.
Ninja
We
Turtle
didn't-
villain.
Yeah,
Here's a chair for
we
you, Ma.
did not have
so a
one.
shredder.
It was a weird villain. They had all kinds of villains, but My dad always thought I was messing with him.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, nice try with this toy
yeah,
again.
you're freaking us out, you know.
And-
I didn't want to go
Tom,
to
I've
bed.
been meaning to tell you, I would stop over all the time and just move that
It's
thing
good.
around.
He
No,
had
I'm
he had a
kidding.
box full of them in the car. He just
Well,
brought one in
it
every
did
time.
make the mistake of being in my bedroom one day facing the door.
How long ago was this?
20 years.
20 years.
20
Yeah.
years ago.
You were in high school.
It was a different
But
house.
he took it and he flung it as far as he could out
In the
field,
cornfield.
out in the cornfield. We go to bed that night, and I said, "Andy, it's standing in front of our bed again."
Did you have cats?
No.
Dogs?
A
No.
guinea pig
Oh.
and a parakeet.
You didn't let the guinea pig outside, did you?
A drunk friend that passed out in that field quite a few times.
Yeah.
But then we had experiences going down the basement. I would go down, and we had a creepy basement. I live in a house without a basement now after that.
Yeah, it would grab you
It would push me.
because that ghost liked them
Yes.
thick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever that was, you've been pushed by whatever this was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I would feel something cold. I'd be doing the laundry, and it would push me right into the wash machine.
Oh wow.
So you
Yeah.
actually feel the hands on your back?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. And I ran up the stairs, and I felt another push, and my knees ended up bruised, and I wouldn't go down the basement when I was home alone anymore.
There was a man who lived in that house before us. He rode at Slinger Speedway. I don't know if you remember this story when we were kids. This was before Rosio lived there. You know the racetrack stuff. He was working on his car,
Me,
which
right?
was our living room at that time,
Yeah.
and the jack kicked out and crushed him to death
Oh.
right in our living room.
Well, I didn't do it.
So
Bob built a time machine and killed it.
maybe his pushing on you was telling you to push up on the car to get it off of
Oh,
him. Huh?
my gosh.
And now normally, like if this was 10 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, that didn't happen. I don't believe you. But because I was at an investigation where one of our investigators got pushed to the ground,
Mhm.
I think it's completely possible.
Yeah.
But by what, that I'm still skeptical about.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting. That's great. Now, I wish you guys still had that toy because I would totally play with
That
that.
toy got, when it was in my room, it got shotgun blasted in the fire pit, then lit on fire with a bonfire that night.
That
Well,
wasn't the
that's-
one I was laying next to, was it?
That was the same fire pit I put it out in.
And it
okay.
never showed up after that?
No, it was gone after that.
Okay.
But you know,
Darn it.
he was
Right,
one
'cause
of
I-
the participants in a Ouija board.
Oh, I was going to get to the Ouija board
Yeah, so was
question,
I,
trigger
actually.
boards.
I have it
Oh.
on. Question from.
Oh, we got an emailer question?
Yeah, I have a
Okay,
couple
let's
email
get an
questions
email
actually.
question in here while we're doing it.
So we'll sneak this one in here. That was one of the questions is, what are your thoughts on Ouija boards? You like the build-up?
Wow,
Was that
yeah.
awesome build-up? You thought there was more?
that one.
Well, that's just
Yeah,
one.
go
Of,
ahead.
that's
Chris has got this one.
sorry. This.
Ouija boards are just toys.
Chris,
Yeah, I know.
They're-
Parker
they're-
brother makes
Parker
them.
Brothers.
Jesus.
They're just toys. They used to
Okay.
be called spirit boards. You know, people used to take them very seriously, but they're
Trigger
nothing but-
objects.
But can I tell you
Sure,
about
Ma.
the Ouija board when
Oh, yeah.
it was operated in that house?
you sure
I
can.
was moving.
Him and my niece were both blindfolded. They were kids at the time. He was in
High school.
high school, and so was she. So we were asking questions because my nephew had some incidences with his little baby. So we're asking questions. They are both blindfolded. This Ouija board is going like this, and we're writing down the answers
And not
and
telling
looking
us.
at each other like, oh my God, we didn't want to influence them on the questions that we were asking.
They were spinning the board. We were still blindfolded. Blindfolded. We had big towels wrapped around our head that we could barely. We were waterboarded
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
That's
blindfolded.
So-
Yeah, like my grandma's nickname and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that we wouldn't know answers
And
to.
it spelled it right out. And then the one question I said,
what's that? What'd you
what
do?
is it you want in the basement? And it put my initials out there. Well, that freaked me out. I moved.
So that goes to the next question on this little
Oh,
paragraph here. What do
Okay.
you- what?
Okay, go.
Yeah, damn right. Is there a scientific explanation to a Ouija board that
Yes, there is.
perfect?
Oh, you're
You
gonna
got
make
that
me
one.
answer this, huh?
You got that
So
one.
yes, there are. So blindfolding on them is one way to try to do a Ouija board, so they're not influenced by the answers. They can't see the letters and stuff like that. We've done it too, where there's been claims of activity around a Ouija board, and when we do that, we'll do the lights completely out, or we'll do one person on it, or blindfold. But we don't usually do that because Ouija boards are just pieces of cardboard to us. I don't.
Okay.
I've never had anything happen when using a Ouija board. So a lot of times when a location would be like, "Oh, if you guys use a Ouija board here, this, X, Y, Z is going to happen." Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring a Ouija board and see if we can get X, Y, Z to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then that claim is kind of debunked right there.
Okay.
So there's what we call an auto. There's like muscle twitches in your arms that you don't know
Autonomic.
that you have. Yeah. And you actually move it without knowing that you're moving it.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the number one explanation for that.
Parker Brothers.
A lot of times it's just the asshole across from you that's moving the you though.
Yeah.
Usually me.
On purpose.
Well, there's
You look like that kind of guy that would do that just to mess with somebody.
Well, this was definitely
Yeah.
moving.
part of that
They-
anatomy is there's voluntary, involuntary, and both. So I believe that can go under there's
Anxiety.
interneurons that connect that you, like, you're not thinking about breathing, but if I say breathe really fast, you can do it.
You're
Right?
not my
You can
supervisor.
control things that you don't normally try to control.
Truth.
So I think that has to do with that system of not knowing you're controlling stuff by controlling it is just that lock in.
Very
there.
much so, yep. But that's why blindfolding is important in that in that case, because then you're not seeing the letters and making up answers and stuff. A lot of times we find too though that people make questions based on the answers they get rather than questions and get the answers.
Okay.
So they'll ask a question, an answer will come up, and then they'll ask a question based on that answer. Like, hey, you'll ask what is your name, and then or you'll ask a question, say like, what state do you live in, and you'll get like Bob, and then somebody like, oh, is your name Bob? They answered our question. His name's Bob. We asked.
Okay.
A lot of
So-
times stuff like that happens.
We weren't even saying the answers to them.
Right.
We
They were just writing them
down.
Can you explain the difference between residual, intelligent, and poltergeist for the listeners?
Poltergeist. Chris, you're gonna do poltergeist. I'll do intelligent and residual.
Okay.
So residual is basically this is a type of haunt that there's an energy or something stamped on the environment that you have no control over, and so basically you're just trying to find a trigger for that, whether it be a time of day or an emotion, or maybe it's even a date in the year, or maybe there's something that will trigger that event to happen. But no matter what you do, you can't interact with it. It won't acknowledge you're there. Let's say say every day at 12 o'clock, a lady walks down a hallway. If you stand in the middle of that hallway, she'll pass right through you. She won't go around you. She won't interact with you. That would be a residual haunt.
I've heard of that for like Confederate soldiers walking.
Right, yep.
Like,
And that was
stuff
like
that.
that was one of the unsolved mysteries stories that I heard.
Yeah.
Where these Confederate soldiers were walking along the ground, but they're cut off the waist.
Mhm.
And so I thought that the ground was built lower at the time, and they built it up since. So that's why you only see them walking at the waist height.
Okay.
So I really remember that from Unsolved Mysteries. Now, an intelligent one is what we look for the most. Basically, that's something that is going to respond to your questions, that is going to react to the things you do. We had one investigation where one of our female investigators was walking up a crickety old ladder, the ones that you pull down to go up to the attic. And as she was walking up, we got a response in our voice recorder that says, I don't want her to crawl up the ladder like that. So that we would consider an intelligent response because it's reacting to the way she's going up the ladder.
Okay.
And poltergeist.
Well, poltergeists are evil, malevolent spirits that don't like to play nice, and you setting me up on this.
I did,
poltergeist,
didn't
aren't
I?
you? I know. There's a story behind poltergeists, but yeah, poltergeists are just evil, malevolent spirits that don't like to play nice.
Do they possess objects, right? And it's usually around a young female
Chris,
girl, right?
Chris is doing this on purpose. So
Yeah.
we don't
Uh-oh.
believe that poltergeist
Exists.
exists.
Okay.
The only thing that Hollywood's got right about poltergeists is that they're noisy ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all they got right.
Are depressed humans an example of residual? That's a question on Facebook.
Oh, that's a good question.
Depressed
Yeah. Are depressed humans an example of residual?
of a residual haunt.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I guess interpreting it would be someone that's depressed. I guess.
well, are they? Maybe they're asking if a possession of some sort could occur to make them depressed.
More info. Let's type that.
Yeah. So depression that's a mental illness. My brother actually suffers from depression. That's something that we strongly suggest you would go see a doctor about because there is medication for that. that could keep you from being depressed. There's also a depression that comes along during the winter months because you're not getting your vitamin.
Seasonal affectiveness disorder.
Perfect. You know it better than
You're
I
a
do.
doctor.
Yes. So, as the colder seasons come around, people often go into depression because of the cold. They don't get their vitamin D and all that fun stuff. So, so that's something we always look into too. That's important for people to understand that it could be that the last thing we want people to think is that, oh, I'm depressed, I must be possessed by something that's bringing me down, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. To deal with that, vitamins A, D, E, and K are the only 4 fat-soluble vitamins, so it's real easy to be low on them for a while.
Okay.
Does that help?
Wow, you got like a regular Google over here.
Fucking Dr. Tom.
Yeah. So, and it's real easy to OD on vitamin D, so don't take it as a food supplement.
Hear that,
See
Molly?
your doctor about that.
What? Never mind.
But if you're out
You
in the
think I'm
sun
taking
all
too much
day
vitamin D?
and then you get it
Never
stopped,
mind.
there'll be a lag period
Oh.
before you're low on
Sure.
it because of that. So,
See, I am that asshole.
Yeah, I know you
so
are.
you talked about the residual with certain times a day. I know you guys always on your website you post that you do like 6 p.m. to 2 in the morning. Is that like a key time a day, a special time, or just a
Witching hour.
Yeah,
Witching hour's
witching hours
3:33.
like 3. Yeah,
3:33?
There's a reason why we do that, and it's mostly because
You have
people-
day jobs.
Right, we have day jobs. I work till 4 or 5 o'clock. I don't have time to investigate during the day, but I wouldn't say that we've never investigated during the day. We do, in fact, investigate during the day when we go to places where we're there all weekend.
Yeah, ghosts don't come out just during the nights.
Right.
There's not a key time, or
Well, in daylight savings, then it's 2:33. Just so you know.
2:30.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So a lot of the claims of activity happen when people are settling down at home. So it's nighttime, they're done with work, they're relaxing, they're getting
Unwinding.
calm, they're not busy, there's not a lot of outside traffic, or they're not busy cooking dinner, they're settling, watching TV, and a lot of claims happen around stuff when people are relaxing or when they're about to go to bed. They're falling asleep, and there's a lot of explanations that can be they can describe paranormal events that happen at night. Sleep apnea is a cause of it. Sleep paralysis is a big cause of paranormal
Oh, yeah.
investigating.
I've had that
Or-
a couple times where I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was awake
That's
and my
scary.
body would not move.
That's scary when that happens, yeah.
And and a lot of
People think they're being possessed, but
They-
it's
yeah,
actually
they
you're
don't
just not
understand.
fully awake.
correct. Yep. And alien
Alien.
possessions too. Alien abductions are often associated with sleep paralysis. And there's actually
Because you can be awake and dreaming at the same time.
I've only had it happen to once. John's happens to him very frequently. He was in a major accident while on duty, and he's been through like different types of medications, and there's different medications that cause things.
Yeah.
He's hallucinated. He's seen hellhounds while on certain medication, and usually he's smart enough to go like, okay, this isn't real.
I'm talks to the Pope on Percocet. He did.
Awesome.
The old one, not the new one.
The old Pope.
The old Pope.
Yeah. So I mean,
Mobile.
it's important for people to understand that medication can cause you to hallucinate, and if you can understand that, then you can go back to your doctor and say, "Hey, I'm seeing hellhounds at 2:00 in the afternoon. I know they don't come out till 3 in the evening or in the morning." So
The Pope is playing Righteous Brothers, and we're making pottery.
just like in the Ghost.
In Ghost, yeah.
But that was in that same house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you were on Percocet, and now you're not. Now you're banned from your doctor.
That's probably for good reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pope is indulging in important answers.
So, what's the holy grail for you to find? What would be the thing?
Hold that thought. I think
Uh-oh.
Jeff had.
Jeff has
Yeah,
another
it's-
question. We got to. Oh, let's
Do
go back.
ghosts have feelings?
Oh, is-
You know,
If they
honestly,
can get angry, that's a feeling.
we don't.
yeah.
We don't know. We don't know
we
if they
try
have
to-
feelings.
We try
I mean,
to push them sometimes.
Right.
yeah.
Sometimes we
To
push
piss 'em
pretty hard,
off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Anything
yeah.
with intelligence would have feelings, correct?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I have feelings.
Well, if it's
Nobody
reacting
cares
to
about
you,
them.
you think-
If it's reacting, it's got to be.
Right.
It can be an emotional response.
Right.
The,
Yep.
the slime from Ghostbusters had a reaction to music. That's a feeling.
Yeah.
The pink
Same.
slime.
The pink.
Yeah.
The pink slime. Yeah.
Sorry.
I had a reaction to negativity of the
Yep.
city of New York,
Oh yeah.
and then positive and whatever. Yeah.
Ghostbusters was research, Tom.
Okay, it was a documentary.
Oh, not the third one.
No, no.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but what would be your holy grail? What would you say would be the? We made it. We prove ghosts real. How
I don't
how
think
do you
that's
do
ever
that?
going to happen. To be honest with you.
because somebody's always going to say, this is BS.
Yeah, somebody
There will always be
disprove
somebody
it,
that says this is BS.
Like,
And-
you found a ghost right after you got a movie producer on your camera equipment. Hey, that's kind of
Right.
funny.
Now, if I could get myself to levitate and get that on camera, I think that'd be awesome. But there
Yourself to levitate.
yeah, that'd be pretty sweet, wouldn't it?
Oh, because that would
like,
be
if-
paranormal,
yeah.
not necessarily a
If
ghost,
I
like
could
you
start,
say.
I
right.
would prove it to you.
As
but
long as
there'd
I'm.
be always people going now.
Oh, he's just another Chris Angel.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
No.
sorcerer.
David Blaine did it first. I'm just saying.
Oh, did he? But it's just there's always going to be people out there that are not going to believe what you capture, and we do our due diligence to make sure that we document everything and that we have everything. We try to button everything up so when we do capture something, we could say, okay, at this time everybody was over here when this happened, so we could prove that nobody was in the room when this moved or whatever. There's no breeze or whatever the case may be. So we try really hard to do that. Now, if we could capture something on video, I think that would be awesome. In 10 years that I've been doing this, I don't have any video evidence of anything to show that's paranormal. It's crazy. So when you watch a video on YouTube and stuff like that of people claiming to have paranormal events, you really have to question it.
So do you think it's because of the negative look from the scientific community that say you got a video of a ghost, it's not going to make the news or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, science has not proven it. Even when science does, it will take 30 years before science accepts.
I think it'll be a lot longer than that. I think it'll take forever to prove that science will accept the paranormal as anything.
I think it's the problem with science is the community says no right now. You go to school for 20 years, you get a doctorate, you start teaching, you want to get your papers published, you need to ask for money to do research. People are giving you money to basically help you live. One thing saying, I believe this ghost evidence is real. That money shuts off. Your whole life is useless. I can't say no, even though, between you and me, I think ghosts are real, but I can never publish something saying that I think your claims are real. Do you think that's the main reason?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the tricky part with this is that any scientific investigation, any kind of science is being able to produce the thing over and over again. So every time you do X, Y, you get Z. All right. Well, with the paranormal, every time you do X, Y, you don't get Z. So you can't prove that when I do X, Y, a ghost is going to appear right in front of me, because that just isn't how it happens. It's nothing like that. You can't document and say every time you do this, this is going to happen. And if you can't do that, then you can't prove it scientifically that a ghost exists, because it just doesn't happen every time you want it. It doesn't happen on command. It's like if you mix red and blue dye, you're going to get purple every time. Every time.
I
And
drop a
that's-
ball. It's
it's
always
gonna-
going to go down. It's not going to float to the ceiling.
Right. And so now if it floated to the ceiling, that'd be another thing.
But I can only get it to do like once every 1,000.
Right, yeah. So I mean, that's the tricky part, is when you want to prove science, you have to be able to back it up, and you need to replicate. You always have to be able to replicate your findings
Okay.
and get the same results.
So you're coming at it with the scientific method, which is you're losing before you even start, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a battle.
So,
It's a bad.
real quick, are the camcorders used to prove that no one was there? ? What is the false positive? Sorry.
Yep.
That's kind of what we were talking about, I think, right?
Okay.
So we'll set up video cameras sometimes in locations where it'll be on the front door.
Okay.
So we can, like, if something were to happen there and they can say, oh, well, somebody came through the door and did it and then took off and you never saw them. Well, that's kind of our saying that we have watched the video and nobody ever came through that door. Now, did they come through a window? It's possible, but one of the things we do when we go to investigations is we make sure we lock the place down. Not only do we want to keep people out, but we want to keep animals, bugs, the wind, anything that we can outside from getting in.
Sure.
So, and cameras oftentimes help us document and control situations like that.
Okay. All right. You got a lot of news on your website. Since there isn't a central hub, how do you stay on top of the paranormal news?
I think this is all news that that Noah has done over the years.
Okay.
I'm kind of camera shy, so when I get in front of a camera, I'm not a big fan of it.
You're doing all right today.
I just ignore the one that's over there. You know? But there's so that Shadow of the Octagon Hall, that's something that Brandon wrote up for us. We were just at this location. It is a phenomenal piece describing how how using crappy cameras can give you false positives. Kind of go back on this. You could tell in this first picture right here that there's a shadow figure kind of at the bottom of the stairs, correct? Would you admit there's a head, some shoulders, possibly some legs? So one of the claims in this location at this exact spot is that people will see a body at the bottom of the stairs. To me, that looks like a body at the bottom of the stairs. But if you go to the next picture that's in there, you'll see with a much clearer camera that, and what we show here is some lights, that it's actually just light play going through the rails of the stairs and forming that what looks like a body.
There is a theory it's not a theory, it's proven. It's called prosopagnosia in psychology. Do you guys know what that is?
I'm not a doctor.
Okay,
I dropped out of psychology.
That is
101.
what this is. It's the human's innate ability to see faces and objects, and they think we developed that before, like a long time ago, when we couldn't see in the dark very well.
So that's a scientific way of saying pareidolia.
Pareidolia,
In
yeah.
paranormal, we call it pareidolia.
Pareidolia,
Yeah, it's
prosopagnosia.
an easier way to say it.
Okay, well, I mean, the first thing you see in the dark, you got to recognize: is it a face? Everything that eats me has a face. Is it a friendly face? Is it a foe? What do I got to do? So people will look at, like, say, an outlet. You'll see the two slits, and that's a face. You'll just see it naturally. So that, I think, can debunk a lot of these pictures. Like, that's just whatever, but we're wired to immediately, without even thinking about it, say that's a person, I should be aware.
100% agree with you. This is one of the biggest battles we have in this hobby of ours. Pareidolia comes up all the time. We deal with, like you said, we are born seeing faces. I mean, we come out of the womb and the first thing we see are faces, whether it be the doctor's face, our mom's face, our dad's face. So we recognize faces, and we get a lot of pictures that people send to us that have they'll blow it up to see as close as they can, and it gets pixelated, and then that's where you get faces, and they'll say, oh, I caught this orb, and when I zoom in on it, I see a face in there. Well, that's just pareidolia, because you're dot matrixing the picture, and the quality of the photo has gotten worse because you're trying to blow up. So say that again.
Prosopagnosia.
We need to remember that so we can.
Yeah,
correct
I will
Noah.
remember that. I'll be
So
like,
next
that's
time,
pareidolia right there.
We
Yeah.
get another comment about if the same thing happens with sounds, right?
Yep, there is an audio pareidolia that happens as
Good
well.
catch.
It pops up
Yes,
for like
very
a couple
good.
seconds on my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's another one that we deal with, and that oftentimes people hear that around running water. You can hear voices, and then when it's just a random sound of, like say you're by a waterfall, you hear random sounds of the water, and eventually you can make out faces, sounds, voices.
Sure.
I actually was at work the other day, and I thought I heard somebody call out my name, and it wasn't anything. There's times where I'll hear my phone alarm go off where I have to wake up in the morning, and my phone wasn't going off yet.
Okay.
I'll do
So-
that. My wife will be like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know my alarm."
I
You
feel
just
my
thought you
phone
sounded.
vibrating all the time when it's not even in my pocket.
I-
I go to reach for my phone.
Yep.
Since we're going to be investigating some of the things that we see, I am a believer and a skeptic at the same time. So the first day we moved in here, I seen shadow figures. So I'd like to talk about the anatomy of the eye for a second. I have a little diagram here.
Oh, did you draw that
Are
one?
you gonna
I
be-
drew that
Are
right
you
here.
asking me the anatomy
No,
of
I'm
the
not.
eye?
I want to ask you if this will debunk my claims. So what we have here is the front and side view of an eye. We have rods and cones.
That's not the scale.
That's not the scale. Okay, we've got rods and cones. Cones see color, and they're located in the center of the eye. Rods are in your peripheral
You can't see
vision.
it on the camera at
Oh,
all.
you can't see it
Just
on the
like-
camera?
Oh,
Okay.
there we go.
All right, rods are in the peripheral of your vision. So the best way to explain, rods see light and lack of
Motion.
light.
Mhm.
Yep.
Cones see color. The best way to describe how rods work is you ever look at a star, very faint, you can't see it. You look to the star to the left and this one appears. So when seeing shadow figures like this, do you think it's possible that I am having neurons fire or relax at certain times where the darkness is triggered in my retina?
Yes, that's very much so that what we try to tell people.
Okay.
It's kind of goes back to evolution that the people that had terrible peripheral that couldn't see light
They
and
got eaten
see
real
that
quick.
motion would get eaten by an animal that was waiting for
Darwinism
them.
at its
Yeah,
best.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see that tiger, you get jumped out, you get eaten, and then you're out of the loop. So
Yeah.
we've only survived this long because we can see out of our peripheral, and we can see motion and light. And there's a perfect test for that. Is you have somebody take color colored markers or colored pencils and come from your side, and you won't be able to see the color as long as you don't cheat and look.
Right.
Yeah.
I always tell people, too, if you want to see how bad your peripheral is, when you're driving down the road, look at the car in front of you and look at the emblem above the license plate. Don't cheat. Don't look at the license plate. And tell me that you can read the license plate without taking your eyes off the emblem of the car. You can't do it. Your peripheral is terrible.
Yeah,
It's just a blur.
My doctor says mine's good.
Right.
Does this?
you had a weird thing with your eye when we were kids.
So
He,
this
You know
chart-
what?
This chart was based on your eyes.
Yeah. Shut up, Tom. You see Slenderman.
he got
How's that?
hit with a
I got hit with a tennis ball in the eye.
so bad that they brought in more doctors from all over the country to
It
look
was
at
a
this.
rare occurrence that happened in my eye. It was called an 8-ball hyphema, and I had blood in the front chamber of my eye. I could have been blind, you dick.
Well, you're not, so
Doesn't mean he's any less of a dick.
So, yeah.
But
Most
yeah,
people
back
catch,
to
you'd have been dead back in the day because you can't catch a tennis ball. So your eyes suck.
So you'd have to throw it at his good eye.
right.
Yeah. All right. So
But yeah, that's exactly the explanation that's very important. People need to understand that you don't see well out of your peripheral, and you do not, when you
I
do
guess-
see a shadow figure, a lot of the claims is you look towards that and the shadow figure disappears because you're looking. And now you're focusing in that area, and it's
Mhm.
and it's
that's
gone.
what I worry about seeing that. But I swear, I swear I've seen this.
Well, that's the problem too. Is we don't want to feel like we're fallible. I mean, human
Yeah.
beings are fallible, and we
Sure.
make mistakes, and knowing that we make mistakes is the first. Admit it. We all make mistakes. We're not perfect. We don't. Our brain plays tricks on us and all that stuff, and you just have to understand that we can't do everything. And this is a plug for nothing that's going to gain me anything, but
All right.
Netflix has Brain Games. It's a show called Brain Games.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it is a fantastic show
Yes.
and teaching people how fallible they are.
How
with their
bad
brain,
your brain is.
eyes,
it
everything.
actually shows you the tricks, and then it shows you like how it works. Yeah.
Right.
It's
And
awesome.
and I try to point people to that whenever I can because they do a fantastic job of showing us how terrible we are with our brains and our minds, our eyes, and everything.
They
our
do
senses.
the audible one with the lips moving that say fa or
Yeah.
la, and it depends what you hear. That
Exactly.
one.
Yep. The dress was blue and black in my mind.
Yeah.
I did see white and gold for a split second, though.
Yeah.
But
It's white and gold in mine.
is it still white and gold?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I bet it's blue and black if you looked right now.
I bet it's not.
Prove it.
So you guys since you're in paranormal, do you kind of find it weird that you get lumped in with like cryptozoologists, UFO, alien, conspiracy, mediums, demons, psychics, and urban legends like that? Does that bug you, or
It's unfortunate, but
it's unfortunate?
it doesn't really bother us. We do our thing. Every paranormal investigator, they do their investigations their own way. Like we said, there's no central hub of paranormal investigators because everybody has different opinions.
There's no standardized.
No, the paranormal is a completely unproven science, so
Sure.
everybody
So
does
the
things.
marriage could be that Bigfoot and ghosts are the
Or what?
same.
Hey, that's a theory
get
that
there,
he's just
yeah.
a ghost of something that used to
A
live.
trickster ghost.
Got it. Oh, I
Oh,
like
you let it go.
Or they're all just interdimensional.
Way to go,
beings.
Karate Kid. Jeez.
Yeah. Nobody
it.
saw
Top
that
six.
but you, by the way. You and Jeff's freak eye that can see ghosts now.
Oh, what were we saying?
What the
I don't know. That mosquito I caught.
Big-
Oh,
the ghost just
Bigfoot
flew.
and
Oh.
ghost. Bigfoot is a
Bigfoot
ghost.
and
yeah,
ghosts.
Bigfoot was a ghost.
Aliens.
Yes. Yeah, big
Ghost.
Get a
in that.
chupacabra comment on
Oh, a
Facebook.
chupacabra also. They proved chupacabra though. They found him.
It was a mange coyote, wasn't it?
They did not find what it is, but
I still wanna
everybody
find
can
it.
sleep. They're just a wild, mutated, blood-sucking dog. Don't worry. You can unlock your doors now. It's not the chupacabra. It's just a wild, loose, mutated, blood-sucking
I'm more
dog.
concerned with a jackalope.
I'm like, isn't that
They
what the
freak me out.
chupacabra was?
Is it jackalope?
No, the
No.
chupacabra. They actually found a rare, wild, mutated dog that sucks blood.
Oh, weird. Well,
They found that.
one of the first stories of when chupacabra came out was it right around the times that the movie what's the shape-shifting lady species when that came out, and one of the first claims of
Wow.
seeing a chupacabra,
Thanks.
It
the
was a
a
shapeshifter.
girl saw what described it just as the species shapeshifter around the same time that they
Exactly
came
like
out.
that.
Yep.
Well, they have blood-sucking deer.
They do. They're vampire deer.
Vampire deer. They have 2
Hollow
fangs.
teeth.
They developed hollow teeth and large fangs on these vampire deer because there was no iron in the soil, and they weren't getting any iron from anything else, so they chased down rabbits and the ones that sucked the blood.
Please tell me that's in another country.
I would love to see
I
a
am
vampire
not going
deer.
outside
I would
ever
love
again.
to see a vampire. That's
Somebody
They're
walk
real.
me to my
If
car.
You look them up.
that's an awesome idea for a movie. Vampire deer.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Just
Put it up. See,
That's,
Oh my gosh.
that looks Photoshop to me.
Let's do some more images here. All right, we got vampire deer. Look at these guys here.
You guys aren't
Oh,
kidding,
look at
are
that.
you?
No, we're not kidding. That's vampire deer. They suck blood out of, like,
put that
Small
up
rodents.
next to the succubus.
Holy
Jeez.
cow.
Terrible.
bam.
Why
So
there isn't a horror movie
mutations
out?
happen. A lot of time they don't work. Sometimes they do. In this
That's
case,
evolution right there. They're adapting to their environment.
yeah, they couldn't get iron, and now they can.
Dang, how'd you like to kill one of those and mount it on your
Oh,
wall?
that would be awesome.
I'm just gonna start adding fangs to your deer on your wall
That's it.
already. Just put those plastic Dracula fangs in there.
Excellent. All right. Well, we can kind of wrap this one up and get on with the investigation here. Jeff, we got any more email questions, or should we save them? Let's save a couple of
Yeah,
them.
she typed in alien pet.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys, for coming and definitely doing this. Where can we find you guys here? Again,
ParanormalMilwaukee.com.
Paranormal Milwaukee.
Or we're on Facebook, Paranormal Investigators of Milwaukee.
All right.
And you can find us right here in your studio.
Yeah.
Definitely come on over tonight, 1111 Broad Street. You know where we are. Doors are locked, though, because we're not letting anything in or out. That mosquito will die before we leave.
It's already dead.
It's not.
That was its spirit flying away.
Yeah.
After
It's an orb.
yeah.
An orb.
You can hit Tom up on Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna stick around. Are we coming with you to do this at all, or?
Hey, that's up to you. If you guys don't
Yeah, we
mind.
can
You
put,
guys brought extra pair of pants, I hope, right? 'Cause,
Sure.
I mean, that's in my case. This is an extra pair of pants in case I crap myself.
All right.
I'm hoping I crap myself. Because then...
10 minutes ago I did. All right.
So, you can find us at Twitter at Off the Rails. I'm so
You are
terrible.
so fired.
God, here, Molly.
Amateur.
Molly's gonna do it. All right. Well, if you're looking to buy or sell a home,
Oh, you're
or
going to this.
interested in a career in real estate, talk to my buddy Roy. Give him a call. Probably wait 10 days though. He's in Vegas now. He's got to get outside of city limits though,
That's
because
not my fault I
prostitution is not legal in Las Vegas.
Truth.
We found that out. That is-
Hopefully, not the hard way.
No, not the
No,
hard
no,
way.
no, no.
It's just, and they hate it when you negotiate.
You tried to.
There's a story we don't want to talk.
2 for 1. We were together.
We were also like
Was it
22.
Next to your mom.
It was double. She was there.
So,
Yeah, give Roy a call at Coldwell Banker Home Sale Realty. 414-235-0763. They'd love to be your go-to for all your real estate needs. Go to our website. What's our website, Jeff?
Molly,
Boom.
Our
Pass him
website is offtherailstm.com.
I can't read.
Check.
And you can
Yeah.
find us everywhere else pretty much at Off the
We're
Rails
on
TM.
everything, so
Twitter,
go to our
Facebook,
website, hit the
Instagram.
Amazon link. You guys shop on Amazon? Need to buy some gravity machines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gravity levitators.
Gravity levitators
Yeah.
will go on Amazon. Hit the link on our page. They send us a kickback.
I need a
Whatever you
hoverboard.
guys buy there.
Well, we also have one on there too, so all of my money goes right back to Pim too, because we're a 501c, so
Yeah.
Oh,
we get
See,
we take.
we don't. If we buy it, our addresses are in the Prime
Yeah, they don't give,
system. We don't get
give
the.
us-
If it goes to any address that we've ever shipped something to, that's blackballed by
So
Amazon.
if
We
I
don't
need
get
to
that.
purchase anything, I can go to your guys' website and buy it off of
No,
your
uh,
Amazon link.
if you go to Amazon and you do the donation, you could donate to Pim.
Oh,
okay.
That's what
Okay.
I was talking about.
oh, we have that right on our website.
Our link, it's just a link on our website. If you're buying something on Amazon, you click on the link and then you purchase it, and then it automatically part of the proceeds for the purchase go towards us, like a percentage.
Yeah, we get a
It's an
kickback.
affiliate program.
Perfect.
Boom, just hit the Audible or Amazon like that. Here's how it
You-
works.
you
And now
don't
shop
pay-
like normal, and we get
Oh,
a
nice.
kickback.
You don't pay anything extra. It's just the same price as you would have
We're gonna have to talk to Brandon about putting that on our website.
Yes, you do.
There you go. And Jeff, where can they find us?
Molly.
Molly's doing
I
it.
thought I already did that.
Yeah.
All right.
Off the Rails TM at
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Weren't
Our
you
website
listening?
is Off the Rails TM.
I already
And
said
there
it.
are still spots open for the Brumner Hotel, November 9th, early shift. Ghosts come out any time of day, we learned. So
I got
That's
one
right.
quick question
Yeah.
for both. Favorite scary movie? Go.
that was
I don't watch scary movies.
What?
They scare the crap out of me.
He
I
make-
can't go to these investigations having that kind of emotion.
Go.
Oh, Creep Show.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, I love it.
That's a good one.
I like the Return of the Living Dead.
No, that's another good one too.
Yeah.
How about you?
I gotta go with the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Really?
Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah, just like the first one.
Okay, just the first
Yeah, just the first one. It's just kind of, it's my fave.
one. Ollie?
The Conjuring really creeped me out because
That's a
that's
good one.
all good.
That's Ed and Lorraine. Lauren, you are getting
Ed and Lorraine Warren, yes.
Lauren. Yeah.
It creeped me out. We went to
It
that
was a
movie,
good
We
movie.
went to it in the Hartford Theater, and it was late. We came out, and it was just empty, and the parking lot is deserted, and it's like it was the creepiest thing
Just
ever.
us and witches.
All right, I will
So-
say Poltergeist was probably the scariest for me. But that's because I had braces at the time, and I thought I was going to get attacked. And I had a room right outside, or a tree right outside my bedroom window.
All right, Universe, and stick around. Check out Jeff Cam and Tom Cam, and we will do this live invasion. Invasion. Fine, it's a live invasion. All right. Remember, Universe, we're not good enough.